Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the YouTube. Now, it is currently about 6 in the morning, Monday the 6th of July. England just stopped playing a couple of hours ago. And I'm very surprised that there's not really anybody out, which is good. Because the downside to where I live now is I go for a walk in the morning. If I want to get a good amount of steps, I've basically got to walk around the city centre. Now, when I was back in Cardiff, I go for a walk around like a park or something, but no one there. If there was anyone there, it was like some old dude walking his dog. Whereas now, I think my PR for apologising that I don't have a lighter for whatever they want to light, it's like 18, which is brilliant. And the amount of times that I've been like voice noting a client and there's a fucking bin lorry coming, like there is one behind me now, it's fucking mental. Should be a little bit better now, which is good. But regardless, so we are now 6 weeks post-show. I'm going to stop calling it post-show because I'm not in post-show anymore, really. I still kind of feel like I am, as in like how my body actually feels. But it's not really when I've already started my off-season blast and stuff like that. So, no, it's just basically week 3 maybe of the off-season. I'm going to call it week 2. Second full week of the off-season now. Well, no, it is. Yeah, week 2 of the off-season. So, yeah, basically week 2 of pursuing being an actual bodybuilder, which is quite exciting. But regardless, so I've been up since about 3:45. Didn't actually plan on getting up that early, but Molly had got up because she wants to watch the England game. I didn't because I don't really want to watch England unless they're losing. But then I woke up with about 15 minutes left of the game when it was 3-2, and I was like, I'll just watch this. And then by the time it finished, I think the game might have been like postponed by an hour. Anyone who's watching this might be like, well, yeah, of course it did. I've got no idea, do I? Still haven't really put 2 and 2 together that there was a football game on 2 hours ago. But yeah, just basically watched the end of that. And then I was like, there's no point me going back to bed to wake up like an hour later. My sleep was actually a lot better in the sense of I go to sleep a lot earlier now, so that's not bad. But yeah, I was kind of just like, right, let me just stay up, crack on with some work. First few check-ins of the day have already been boxed off, which is lovely. And as I've been recording this, another 3 coming through. So that's not bad. Gives me loads of stuff to crack on with when I get back to the flat shortly. But yeah, obviously week 6 into the off-season. I've also checked in with Tim today. So what I might do later is run through where I'm at, what we're doing, any changes that do go in, or even if there's not changes, just like what me and Tim chat about on my check-in and stuff. But I don't really want to say anything now and then have to give another update later. I'd rather just go through the full update later. But I'm also today probably going to try and go through my lower session for today. Am I? I don't know, because I do feel like probably better to go through a bit of a push and arm session or a pull session, because that's actually what I do need to bring up. I'll see, to be fair, no, I won't do that. I'll either film tomorrow or Friday, or I will still film tomorrow, but I will tag it on to the end of this video. I might do that. I'll do that. So I'll basically give a bit of an update in regards to what I'm doing, etc., etc., and then we'll have tomorrow's session filmed for the end of this video. Well, for the majority of this video anyway, because I've got one of those actual like tripods coming for the DJI, so I can actually have it up properly and film my sets and whatnot. So that should be cool. That should be fun. But yeah, I feel generally pretty damn good. And this is like my usual sort of like morning routine anyway, is I'll get up, if I'm checking in, I'll check in, sort myself out, brush my teeth. Sometimes I have my, if I've got time, I'll shower first thing in the morning. If I don't, I'm just like, right, let me get out and get my steps done. Like today, to be fair, I definitely could have today. Jesus Christ, I'm disgusted. And then get home and shower. But on this walk, this is where I'll get back to like any client messages that are like relatively simple to get back to. Any contest prep check-ins, anyone who's checking in multiple times a week where they don't need a loom, I will just do on this walk, just so they've got their feedback nice and quickly. So that's usually going to be people who are in obviously a contest prep, but that might be if we're coming towards the end of a diet and we do want to play a little bit more closer eye towards the physique, they'll be checking multiple times a week, for any other reason as well. Training clips I don't get back to on this walk. Training clips I tend to do literally first thing in the morning, because I can have my laptop up in front of me, and then I can reply to each batch of training clips. So what I'll say to clients to do is send me over every clip you've got from that session, and then say this is push, for example. Then if you've still got pull to send over as well, then send them, then send pull, because everything's then bunched together. So I can just reply to that one message and say, hey mate, blah, 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 here's your feedback, and then go through everything in its entirety. And I can do that typing on my phone while I'm watching on my laptop, and it's a lot more efficient than going back through like each individual training clip, because it also gets a bit messy there. Whereas if you're literally thinking, right, where's my push feedback, look for my push clips, bang, there you go. So yeah, that is the morning routine. We've also got 1.5 liters of water with like 3 servings, I think, of Hydromax. It's the berry flavour, but it looks quite orange. It looks quite strange. But it's very good. So yeah, that's the morning routine. Fucking, I feel like an actual adult now. Like an actual, like, adult bodybuilder. I'm getting up at the crack of dawn. I was up today before the sun even came up. I'm going for a walk. A year ago, I was getting up at like 8:30. Probably doing around 2,000 steps all day, and that was the steps I did while training. God, I've matured so much. That's such a good like life transformation. So impressive, man. Hey, so meal 1 of 6 today, and it's actually just changed. Tim has just checked me in, and it is now not 100 gram of cream of rice, it is 70 gram. I will go through the actual changes and stuff like that and whatnot, and my thoughts and a bit of advice for anyone coming towards the end of post-show into an off-season and stuff like that, and why we've actually pulled food down today. But I'm going to have to go through and just readjust a couple of bits, because this is 100 gram cream of rice, not 70, so I need to go and change some other bits around, but it should be fairly easy. But imagine this is 70 grams, even though you can't see the number. So it is 100 gram cream of rice, or 70. This is 70 gram cream of rice. Yes, Tim. It is 30 grams of whey, 20 grams of dark chocolate. I made this the night before, so it's there. 50 banana and 100 raspberries. Definitely 70. So yeah, that's the meal. The reason why one protein is lower is my sleep is not that long in duration. It's not. Definitely not today. I'm probably off about 4.5 to 5 hours sleep. But weirdly, I have legitimately zero like downside to it. I feel better in the morning. I feel more awake, which is really weird. So yeah, I feel more awake generally. I have a lot more time to crack on with work at the time which I want to do it. Like, it means that I can get all of my check-ins done by usually 10 a.m. It then means that I can head to the gym nice and early, so I miss the traffic, and gyms are a bit generally quieter, which is good. And then I can get home and I can then have the time that I need to in the evening to then sort out any other bits without having to play catch up. I can, for example, anyone who I am setting up, I've got the rest of the afternoon to sort that out, as opposed to having to just try and find time in the week and stuff like that. So it's a lot more productive for me. And then if I need to as well, I can just have a nap, and it just works better. But the reason that I'm now having 6 meals is I'm up for a lot longer during the day, and yeah, I wanted to put a bit more food pre-workout, or like just before I train, not directly pre-workout, so I don't want to go into the gym bloated, but basically put another meal here. But then it's actually quite nice in the evening to basically have a Ninja Creamy with my girlfriend, actually to make that at some point. I'm going to do that after my next couple of check-ins. So yeah, it's actually quite nice. So basically, I pull, and to be fair, it actually works better because now I've already got like just about enough protein in this meal, only 30 gram whey, pre-workout and post-workout, where I actually don't like having more than I actually need in terms of protein, just so it helps with digestion and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the meal. I'm going to go and reply to Tim and say thank you for my check-in. Planning to go up and see him at some point in the next couple of weeks as well, so I might try and film that. That'll be quite fun. And yeah, I basically say that thanks for dropping my food. I'm not going to adhere to this meal at least. I'll sort it out afterwards. Okay, so we are now pretty much done with work, which is lovely. Just been up for 6 hours now, and it's coming to 9:30. I don't actually feel too bad at the moment, but I felt that might change at some point. But someone's checking who I do want to chat about today is, and I'm pretty sure he'll be watching, Big Teddy. Now, I've been working with Teddy now for 18 months, and 18 months, 19 months, something like that. Basically, since like pretty much, actually, no, it was the 1st of January 2025. And if you are maybe new to the channel, anything like that, or you haven't been following me for long, then you might see that I obviously post my own bodybuilding a lot on here. Obviously I've got clients on stage. I don't just coach bodybuilders. The vast majority of my clients aren't bodybuilders. Teddy wants to compete in the future, but is he an active competitor right now? No. Teddy started with me to be completely transparent, not a great position, hormonally, physically, mentally, and he was very, very honest about that. And he was very honest in the sense of, you need to just sort this out. You're relatively underweight, and kind of wanted somebody who he knew he could get on with and knew he could communicate well to. And I think he probably did a good bit of background research in terms of, like, I remember him asking a question on the podcast I used to run. So I recognised the name when he inquired for coaching. And we hopped on a call, had a bit of a chat, and we basically just talked through a lot of things in regards to what he was struggling with and how I could be of help and what he would need more from me. And that's something which I'll always ask anybody when they come to me, is like, okay, so why are you inquiring for coaching? Why do you need a coach? What's my job going to be more than anything? Is it a case of just like, right, you just want to get into an off season, you want to go into a prep, you just want to get skinned? Or is it a case where, like, okay, you're struggling with something specific and you need someone to come in to really help push past that barrier that you've got? And obviously for Teddy, that was going to be allowing body weight to creep up, and that sort of food sort of side of things. And the transformation which we've done already, we're now currently a couple of weeks into our first pullback. We ran an improvement phase from the start of January last year until, let me get the exact sort of timeline up here. We ran that from January of last year all the way until the start of April this year. He actually started his pullback a day after my first show of this year, where we took body weight all the way from 55 kilos all the way up to 83. I think we saw a few 84s in there as well. We're now sitting at 76.5, and there's a lot of muscle built. On screen, you would have seen some photos. There will be some photos probably still on screen now. The difference is absolutely ridiculous. Not only from a muscularity standpoint in terms of how much we've improved over this time period, but if you read between the lines, have a think about how he's probably feeling as a result of this in terms of where he's at, not only physically, but how he's going to be feeling mentally as well. It's absolutely incredible, and this is something which you can't put a price on as a coach. Like, it's all well and good getting someone that transformation, but when you have built up such a good relationship with clients over time, these little things mean ever so much. And the relationship I've got with Teddy is absolutely fantastic. I like it. Teddy's like my little brother. My little brother who we have a check-in every single week. He's now checking twice a week, and it's a nice time to catch up, chat some shit about football, about bodybuilding, everything like that. And it's really, really cool, and it's very cool to be able to help people in these sorts of positions as well. As much as, you know, competitive bodybuilding and, you know, micromanaging as many different things as possible, from peaking to, when someone is using PEDs, modulating stack design and things like that. As much as that's the nitty gritty things and it's fun, something else which is probably more rewarding, if I'm honest, is help people in these sort of transformations. So yeah, I thought I'd share that on screen here, because it's something which I'm very, very proud of, to say that I've helped out with a lot during this time. So yeah, that's absolutely wicked. But in regards to the update on myself, so obviously I checked in today. And we've actually pulled some food down. As I say, we're basically starting prep now. Body weight has come up a good chunk over the last couple of days. We introduced Nova Rapid at 5 IU's pre and post workout a couple of days ago. And obviously, as a result of that, growth hormone, heat being a fucking main factor as well, body weight's up a good chunk. I'm not, for the first time ever though, I'm actually not that arsed. I don't really care. My main goal is I need to build a lot of muscle, like a lot of muscle. I'm not going to be able to build all the muscle I need to be competitive in one off-season push. It's going to be 2, 3, 4. But I need to make every single phase as productive towards building muscle as I possibly can do. So the goal post show, and to be fair, I put a post up about this yesterday. The goal post show is you get your food up, you get things moving, you regain some body fat, you regain optimal hormonal function, and that's the goal there. Eventually though, once that job has been done, with how post-prep sort of physiology works, that maintenance that you're then holding, like, even if food is kind of keeping you there, you can then begin over time to actually, even though you've been holding for a couple of days, couple of weeks, you can then actually see the same amount of food then begin to become the surplus. And the reason for that is because food is also going to drop off stress. You've now begun to drop off stress that you've had throughout prep in regards to psychological fatigue, mental fatigue. And as that fatigue begins to drop down, your demand for food is much lesser. So therefore, that becomes the surplus. We also then have things which are going to be holding a lot more fluid, growth hormone, heat, Nova Rapid, right? It then basically just means that we don't need food to be as high. Obviously, at the same time, if I'm holding a bit more fluid from growth hormone, Nova Rapid, and the heat, could I potentially pull some of those things away to not hold fluid? Yeah. Can't really pull away the heat. I could move house. Don't really fancy doing that right now. But could I pull away growth hormone? Yeah. Could I pull away Nova Rapid? Yeah. But at the same time, my goal is to build muscle. They are going to help me build muscle. Realistically, I'm going to build a lot more muscle with Nova Rapid and growth hormone in than if I don't. So yeah, I'm not going to do that. Literally, Nova Rapid, for argument's sake, yes, it's seen my body weight creep up a good bit over the last couple of days, but it's going to help me partition nutrients to a significantly better degree. It's going to help me train to a better degree. I'm going to be fuller. Growth hormone is going to help with fullness, going to help with recovery, going to help with loads of things, right? But again, yeah, I'm going to hold more fluid, but I don't give a fuck. Like, I think that's something which a lot of people over analyze, is how much people actually care or don't care. I don't care if people think, oh my God, he looks a bit soft. I don't give two shits. Because at the same time, those people are also thinking, fucking he's made a lot of improvements. That's all I give a fuck about. And if you spend your off season worrying so much about how much fluid you're holding, how much, if you're too soft, anything like that, as opposed to how much muscle you're trying to build, you're not going to build that much muscle, bro, because you're worried about the wrong things. In off season, the goal is to build muscle. The goal is to progress your lifts. The goal is to get your body weight to a point where it's never been before. Obviously in due course, in due time, but my main goal right now is just to get fucking massive, so I don't care if I want a bit more fluid. So yeah, food has been pulled from train days and non-train days. Obviously, the meal you've already seen will from tomorrow be 70 grams of cream of rice, not 100 grams, which obviously I prepped last night. So for today, I'm just going to readjust my rice meals based on that, and that will be all cool. And then later on the week, I will do a full day of eating as well, just like an update on like what I'm actually eating day to day. Maybe a rest day actually, just so you can see that. But today is not. It's just going to be a bit of an update in terms of what I'm doing, etc. Kind of wanted to fill the gap a bit, and then I'll also have tomorrow's session in there as well, which hopefully I'll be mic'd up for and can basically talk you through what I'm doing, and that'll be sound. So yeah, that's the update. I will show you the pre-workout meal, as I'm going to go and finish off, sort it out now, then head to the gym soon. But aside from that, that is the update. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed the colour coordination of the pink Physique Pro and Engineered Muscle Top and my fucking... No. I forgot the camera tracking's on. Bang. and then the pink Culbucks and shorts. Didn't even plan for that. I don't know if I'm going to go to the gym in this outfit, but I've also lost all of my shorts because I think Molly hasn't washed them, because I should do the washing sometimes. I don't do the washing. That's Molly's job. I'll do the dishes. Molly does the washing, and she fucking shrinks all my clothes. But yeah, that's the update. Hope you've enjoyed. I'm a fat bastard now. Oh my God, so bad. I'm not that fat. I'm sound. I will be fat soon though. Very excited. And probably the last thing I'll film today, pre-workout. I'll get into that in a second, but the pre-workout meal is 30 gram of whey, 130 cream of rice, 100 raspberries, 100 banana, 20 honey. Intra is 20 grams Hardy Branch Cyclodextrin. This is the Trained by JP one. 15 EAs, which is the strong one. And then pre-workout, we're out of pump product. Some more is getting delivered today. And all we've got at the moment is this Vascumax, which is like all clumped because of the heat. So what I've done is I've weighed out 2 servings of pump, which are just these clusters, right? And I'm just going to eat them about 15 minutes before I train. Now, something about me, right, is I don't like doing things the easy way. I like doing the memorable way. Technically it works, and that's all that matters, right? It might taste of shit, but it's going to do the job. I call it efficient. Molly calls it concerning. That goes for a lot with me, but it will do the job. Maybe keep your product in a bit more chilled environment, guys. So I just put my salt into my intro for today. But today's legs. The bit after this will be push and arms that you'll see, which is a lot of arm work. My 2 push and arm sessions are pretty sure like 2 presses and 2 biceps, 2 triceps, some laterals and some flies. Great fun. It's actually, I actually did enjoy the session because I felt fucking massive. And also with this, 5 IUs of your finest Nova Rapid. More fluid, lovely stuff. So yeah, that will be all for today. I will catch you tomorrow, if I remember, at the gym, and we'll go through push and arms. Okay, so it is the following day. I am home from the gym after push and arms 1. The tripod for the DJI comes tomorrow, which is great. So what I have done is I have managed to film on my phone the session, which I'll talk you through. The only issue is my first movement actually cut off after a rep. I filmed it in landscape as well, and I was going to like just talk over it, but after that I was like, I'll film my training as I normally do, and it'll probably be out to the side. So what I will probably do in a second is my face will move to the side, and then by like there or there will be the session, as you can see. But I actually want to go through it. To be fair, I don't really mind that the first movement is cut off, because I actually want to talk a lot more in depth in regards to like arm training, because I feel like it's something which people massively not overcomplicate, but allow their quality of work to be a lot lesser. So this session is one of my 3 sessions in the week where I do ab work. So ab work is 3 times a week. So today I did my 3 sets of a crunch, which is either a cable rope crunch or a machine crunch, with 2 sets of a hanging leg raise variant. So that's at the start of the session. I then have 2 sets of calves, standing calf. Is it standing calf? Yeah, it was a standing calf today. 2 working sets on that, and then I go straight into my pressing. So now, in a second, you will see, I'm going to try and basically like have it in line with as I'm watching the clip that I'm about to put on here. So it should make sense. But first movement, anyway, is the 45-degree incline Smith. This cut off halfway through, but 2 working sets here. I did take a moderate set first. I just did 2 plates beforehand, before then going heavier because I haven't done this for a while, and then that's literally as quick as it cuts off. But 2 working sets there, 5 to 8, and then a 8 to 12 sort of set. We then have the Nautilus flat press, which I've got 2 sets on here as well. I've done this a lot more consistently over the last couple of weeks or months anyway, so I kind of knew where loading was going to be, but not as a first press, so it was a little bit lower in terms of loading there. But in regards to direct arm work, now I've got 4 direct arm movements here, 2 sets on every single set. It's a lighter set and then a heavier set for every single one. So here, single arm tricep extension. I'm using a cuff here, and I'm thinking to keep my upper arm as fixed as I possibly can do. And this is what I'd really advise for anybody with their arm work is keep that humerus, that upper arm here, as fixed as you can. Towards the latter end, I might try and just throw out a little bit more rep, allow that shoulder to come forward a bit more. But I'm really aiming here to keep that upper arm nice and fixed and only really move at the elbow joint. When it comes to a bicep movement, right? When your bicep is fully short, your tricep is going to be fully lengthened, and vice versa for a tricep movement. So what I'm actually going to do as I do get into that stretch of a tricep extension is actually fully contract my bicep, just so I can get a full stretch on the tricep. So here, that's going to be the 2 sets, obviously on each arm of the single arm tricep extension, which is going to be in like the 5 to 8 sort of rep range, so a little bit heavier there. Before I then go on to a single arm preacher kill. Sometimes I will do this dual arm. I'm not going to really bullshit and say I always do this single arm. I don't. It was just what's available. So here, I actually do the single arm variant. But again, here, this is going to be obviously a fixed movement pattern. So I'm really thinking here to only really allow any movement to be at my elbow joint. Anything more than that, and like if my shoulder's coming forward, I'm going to adjust the seat. I really want this just to be as fixed as possible. So what you'll see on, like, especially a dual arm preacher, is people do hunch forward a bit more, and then they allow their elbows to come up as they curl up. All you really want to be doing here is moving at the elbow joint, and that goes for any really bicep and tricep movement. I then go into a fly, 2 working sets of the Nautilus decline fly. This is actually here in the 11 to 15 rep range, so a little bit higher rep range here. I'm thinking as much as I can to keep that those shoulders behind me as much as I possibly can. And something which I think is really important with your isolation work, and this goes for a leg extension, a hamstring curl especially, but also with your upper body work as well, is as you come into that contraction point, as you come into that shortened range, what I'm then thinking to do is keep that contraction as I then come into the stretch, as I come into the lengthening position, so I can keep tension on the muscle. And it's something which I think is really important, because on a compound movement, I don't really care too much about internal connection. If I can feel my muscle is full of blood afterwards, great. But A to B with good execution is the goal there. When it comes to isolation, I really want that internal feel there. I think it's really important. We then have the single arm, like Nautilus overhead sort of extension here. Again, here I'm really thinking get a good contraction, but here again a little bit more emphasis towards the lengthened. So here I'm having a little bit of a pause there just to make sure that I'm not using too much inertia, not really using too much momentum. Here for the following set, I actually did move the seat down a little bit lower. I found that when I was doing this, my shoulders are a little bit too high than where I'd like it. And then we finish off with 2 working sets of a dumbbell hammer curl. Again here, not really thinking to move too much at the upper arm, keeping that nice and consistent. This is my heavier set as well. I would usually do this seated, but someone was using all of the benches, which is absolutely class. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, that is the push and arms 1 session. And the rest of the setup for today is exactly as it's going to be for the next couple of days. So what I'll do in a couple of days as well is I will also film a full day of eating, and maybe another update video. Who knows? But the next video that you should see should be Jared's show day. I believe Jack is getting it over to me tomorrow, so that'll be up by Thursday, Friday, sort of. I'm going to try and get this video out for tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, which should be all good. So thank you very much for watching. Any comments, any questions, feel free to drop them down below. I know there's a couple which I don't always get back to, so I do apologise. But as usual, all links will be down below as well. If you are interested in coaching, the link will be probably at the top line of the description. So all you need to do is actually click that link. It will take you straight to my WhatsApp with a pre-filled up message. You can just send that, and I will just drop you a message and get back to you as soon as I can. But of course, if you want to just add on any other information in regards to that, maybe what your goals are straight away, feel free. And then from there, we can literally just jump onto a call. Really super simple, have a bit of a chat in regards to where you're at and how it can help. And that's something which I think is really important as well from a coaching standpoint. I always like to understand what a client is coming to me to do. What are they struggling with? Why are they reaching out for coaching? And really start to build that relationship up straight from the get-go. So that will be top line description. We've also got Trinity Lifting Apparel. You can use code JOSH10. And then we have got Full Bore Sports. So any of your supplementation needs, you can grab from there and use code Jenkins. So yeah, I will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and I will chat to you guys in another video.